Good morning. I'm Dave Thompson, and welcome to the 2017 Fall Convocation. Please rise for our national anthem, which is performed by the School of the Arts students Aaron Marshall, George Ivan, and Sam Johnson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now please welcome Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Sue Ott Rollins, to the stage.
Thank you, Aaron, George, and Sam, for that wonderful performance. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce some special guests with us today, so please stand as I call your name. President of the Faculty Senate, Matthew Zakate. President of Staff Congress, Katie Lavold. The Chair of the Council of Chairs, Frank Braun. And members of the President's executive team, will you all stand and be recognized? Thank you. We have a number of community leaders, guests, and friends of the university here with us today. If you are here from outside of the campus of NKU, would you please stand and be recognized? Brent. We really thank you for your support of the university. We're so pleased you could join us. We have many new faculty and staff who have joined the university since our last convocation. So will all of our new faculty and staff colleagues please stand and be recognized? Over the past year, we've had the opportunity to recognize the outstanding achievements of many NKU staff and faculty. The Regents Distinguished Service Award recognizes individual staff employees who have made exemplary contributions to the growth, image, and efficient operations of the university. Last spring, 3 individuals were recognized with the Regents Distinguished Service Award. If you are here, will Mark Nykirk, Cheryl Vopenheim, and Aaron Smith please stand and let us thank you for your service. And during our annual Academic Affairs Faculty and Staff Honors and Awards ceremony in April, we recognized 15 faculty and staff members from Academic Affairs with awards in 12 different categories. We received close to 50 nominations for our award programs, and the quality of those nominees was simply outstanding. Therefore, receiving one of these awards represents a great honor. The recipients of these awards have made extraordinary contributions to NKU and have played an important role in the success of our students. Will all faculty and staff who received academic affairs, honors, and awards at the April ceremony please stand and be recognized? Thank you very much. The Outstanding Professor Award has been in place since 1970. The award was endowed and retitled in 1996 as the Frank Sinton Milburn Outstanding Professor Award as a result of a gift from Dr. Carol Swartz in memory of her husband, Frank Sinton Milburn, a Burlington inventor known as the Cornfield Edison, who devoted his life to helping others turn their ideas into realities. The Frank Sinton Milburn Outstanding Professor Award honors a faculty member who has demonstrated excellence in teaching, scholarship, and service over his or her career. This year's honoree is Dr. Holly Reif, Professor of Social Work in the College of Education and Human Services. Holly, would you please join me on stage? Dr. Holly Reif received her PhD in social work from the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. She has been a faculty member at NKU since 2001 and became a full professor in 2009. She has directed the Social Justice Minor, the Masters in Social Work program, and the NKU Latino and Multicultural Center for Regional Development. Dr. Reif's nominators for this award wrote the following: "If I were to describe Holly in one word, it would be advocate. Her compassion for others drives her to action, whether in the college classroom, the NKU community, the greater community, or on another continent. She sincerely cares about the emotional and physical well-being of others. True to her social work values of social justice and the importance of human relationships, Holly has worked with a variety of community and international populations, including Somali and Latino immigrants, HIV/AIDS populations and their caregivers, school children experiencing homelessness, and persons in need of mental health care in our local community. Holly consistently integrates this work in her teaching and directly involves her students in active learning to their benefit. This has included work with local law enforcement organizations and work with the military and veterans. Holly has masterfully integrated her teaching with service and scholarship. Congratulations, Holly. That, and there's that. So, I don't know if there's that. Here? There it is. Okay. Okay, that was right. Give it to you.
It is a beautiful day in Highland Heights, Kentucky. Although a little hot, which we expect in August, and I'm not used to wearing anything other than a t-shirt. So fall to me always has this feeling of expectation and new beginnings. I want to express my deep and heartfelt gratitude to Carol Swartz and NKU's faculty on the Milburn Committee who allow me to share this stage in our NKU space with my colleagues. And I also want to thank Sue Roth, my partner of nearly 20 years. I started at NKU when President Vitruba was just beginning his initiative on the role of regional and metropolitan universities in our community's development. This is the first time I considered having the entire academy focused on our region. I, along with my colleagues from a wide variety of disciplines, began working on issues that are vitally important to each one of us in this room. I thought, this is my place. I have finally come home. As a professor of social work and social justice, I trust in the power of community. I also believe that every single human deserves equal economic, political, and social rights. and true access to those opportunities. What parent or grandparent doesn't dream of their child's future and fear the challenges? I believe it's our personal interconnections and our interdependence that provide the foundation for our lives. Our histories intertwine with our present and provide us with compassion and concern for our future generations, our students, and our community. But maybe just as important as my personal philosophy is that my family is from here. My elders in this row graduated from Newport High School at a time when the Syndicate was more than a restaurant, and you could play a slot machine in a grocery store. They came from Ashland and Falmouth, Kentucky, and from Ireland and Germany. My culture and my heritage is the same as many of our students. Yet even those students who don't look like me or have the same accent as I do, we're able to find that space where we share the same wants and desires for our families and our communities. We want our communities to be healthy and vibrant. We want to feel safe in our neighborhoods. My vision is that faculty and staff do have a role in connecting our work to the community. The question before us is, how do we make that happen? And the short answer is teaching, research, and service, right? So let me give you 3 examples of how I've seen this to make our community and NKU better. About 1/5 of women and 1/16 of men will be sexually assaulted on our campuses this year. Carolyn Mackey, a social work professor, began looking at evidence-based practices to bring that rate down at NKU. She can't be here today because she's conducting bystander training for all of our incoming freshmen. That training has reached more than 9,000 students and teaches them to safely intervene and prevent potentially harmful situations. We know we can empower NKU students, and they in turn can reduce assault on our campus and bring that back to our neighborhoods. That's important work. We have hunger on campus. We hear a lot about elementary students not having enough food, but I didn't realize the staggering numbers of college students who are just flat out hungry while they're trying to learn. Dr. Jessica Taylor started Fuel, NKU's food bank that feeds a few hundred NKU students. While we are feeding our students, Fuel is also a training ground for NKU's BSW and MSW students. That means we're teaching NKU's brightest to bring the resources back into their own neighborhoods when they graduate, and right now we can make certain our students are fed. And last, we've heard the statistics about Northern Kentucky and the greater Cincinnati region as one of the epicenters of the opioid epidemic. Nationally, in 2016, an estimated 59,000 people died from a drug overdose. That's about 1,000 people or so in our backyard. It's staggering, right? If you ask students or your peers, it's likely you know somebody who's been impacted by a heroin overdose. Perry Lou Goddard, a psychology professor, will tell you we can start Suboxone treatment in the emergency department after an overdose, and if we follow the research, we have a much greater chance of helping that person enter recovery. Dr. Goddard didn't need to build a new program. She just shares the latest research with our healthcare professionals. Our community leaders and our politicians need the voices and expertise of you, our NKU scholars. As a social work professor and community organizers, it's these examples that excite me. It is each member of our beloved NKU community coming together to work on issues that are important. It's about communicating this love of community and the research surrounding each of our practices that we share with our students. When I talk to students about the issues, social issues of our world, like the violence in Charlottesville, they ask, what do we do? I first tell them to breathe, and then to study the topic. And then I share that my elders and my mentors wore heels to Stonewall and work boots across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. I talk about the music that helped me through the rough parts. My brother taught me what Bob Dylan meant during the Nixon era. And my sister, down there, taught me to rejoice doing Motown. I teach my students the exact same thing today with slightly updated musicians. And then we eat together and we discuss research. We talk about our segregated schools, black folks being shot by police, and the angst of going through hormone treatment so you can feel right in your own body. We discuss how they just saw a person die, live streamed on Facebook. how they have never lived in a world where school shootings didn't happen, and that they drill lockdown scenarios in grade school. All of these events, as terrible as they are, provide context for our learning. Together, they help our community grow in healthy and vibrant ways. These are tough issues, but after we talk, we can both learn. And it's in that one moment, that still point when tears have been shed, the thoughts verbalized, that there is sacred space. And it's that still sacred space that we learn life is all about impermanence, that our suffering sometimes spills over, and that together, when we share the same path and understand that I am your people and you are my people, once we learn that, we can get down to the work of building community. And I know that you know, as both Charleston and Charlottesville remind us, we got work to do together. I want to thank you again to this amazing NKU community, my colleagues, my family, my friends, particularly my social work faculty and students. And I want to say, may each of you be happy. May you share great food, listen to music that fills your soul, and may all of us live with ease. Thank you.
I don't have anything.
She made me cry. The Regents Professorship is awarded from time to time to those full professors who, at the apex of their careers, have an exceptional record of achievements in scholarship or creative activity that has brought acclaim to the university and is consistent with the university's core values. The Regents Professorship Award celebrates the accomplishments of the recipient and provides support through time and resources for the professor to focus on her or his work. Such work should bring further acclaim to the university and ultimately enhance the full breadth of the professor's work. All of the applicants for the Regents Professorship were exceptional and accomplished faculty representative of our very best. This year's honoree is Dr. Cecile Marchinsky, Professor of Psychology in the College of Arts and Sciences. Cecile, will you please join me on stage? Dr. Cecile Marchinsky earned her doctoral degree in psychology from McMaster University and completed postdoctoral training in psychopharmacology at the University of Kentucky. Her research, funded by the National Institutes of Health, has examined the combined effects of alcohol and energy drinks using human laboratory-based studies. She is the author of over 50 scientific publications and 2 books, Drug Use, Misuse and Abuse, Psychopharmacology in the 21st Century, and Binge Drinking in Adolescents and College Students. She appears frequently in print, on radio, and on television, and has been interviewed by ABC, BBC, CBC, CNN, NBC, NPR, Bloomberg Businessweek, the New York Times, the London Telegraph, and Time magazine. Dr. Marchinsky's extraordinary teaching and research have been recognized by various awards, including the Excellence in Teaching Award from the Greater Cincinnati Consortium of Colleges and Universities, NKU's Frank Sinton Milburn Outstanding Professor Award, NKU's College of Arts and Sciences Outstanding Junior Faculty Award, and she's also been named a Fellow of the American Psychological Association. Congratulations, Cecile.
Thank you very much. This is very beautiful. I have 2 small children and a new puppy at home, so this is not coming home. I'm just going to put this down. That will stay in my office. Thank you for this wonderful honor. I must say I'm very appreciative, and especially to the committee. We have many wonderful scholars across this university, and I know that I've sat on these committees myself. It's incredibly difficult to disentangle who is doing what in scholarship and compare it and decide on these sorts of things, so I really appreciate the committee for that. I want to thank the provost. She's been a very strong supporter of all faculty. She's expanded the number of faculty awards, as she mentioned earlier. And I think this is really important, that everything that faculty are engaged in, that they get rewarded for all those wonderful achievements. I'll just mention one thing that I think is really a great achievement that she had initiated. There's a change now in the faculty handbook that allows faculty to go part-time. And when I came to NKU, I had a baby, and then within a year I had another baby, and I basically spent all my tenure track years changing diapers. And those kinds of family-friendly policies, I was really lucky to work in a department that sort of had that feeling like we're going to make this work-life balance thing happen. But for the provost to make that policy is a tremendous change, and really a wonderful thing for faculty, especially junior faculty. Thank you to my wonderful department, especially my department chair, Jeff Smith. He has that special skill of fixing everything and keeping everyone happy and solving problems, and that sort of make everything run smoothly, the trains run on time. Having a great chair is incredibly important. He also knows to bring cookies to our faculty meetings. I want to especially thank Mark Barget, who's sitting over there. He's also a Regents professor, and he was the chair of the hiring committee when I was hired. So he's been the individual who I have tried to model over all the years I've been at NKU. I came here largely because he was a successful scholar as well as a great teacher, and I just saw a model of what you could do here. You could do great scholarship as well as being a great teacher. There's sometimes, I think, in academia, this feeling or dichotomy that you can only do one really well, and he was my model that that idea is nonsense. You can be really good at both, and I guess you have to do service. Also, thank you to my students. They're really enthusiastic. They're really fun to be around. They give me great ideas for projects. They oftentimes give me such good ideas because they think like the general public, and so a lot of times I've come up with great ideas for studies because they bring them to me and I realize that's actually what people want to know about. And so I design studies, and so I think a lot of my great scholarship, if I can say it's great, is just because they are bringing those questions to me. So thank you to all my students, and I really, I like seeing them grow and develop, but it's also kind of nice that students come into the lab and they become friends and they stay friends well beyond their years at NKU. So we know that it's really important for students to come here and then find their place, their friends, their community, and I think undergraduate research is one of those ways that students can do that. My husband's not here, but I have to thank him because he helped me change all those diapers all those years. And just one final word. I think for academics, scholarship's fun. It's the really fun part. If you ask any professor, anything about their job, and then you ask them about their area of scholarship, that's where their eyes light up, and they really, that's their life force. So if I can just say one thing, I hope this is a year where you protect that time and you do that scholarship, because it's actually kind of a self-care activity, right, for faculty, because it's so easy to get sucked in to spending a tremendous amount of time with your students. You love your students, you want them to do well, you want them to grow, and then you have those service activities. And then you really want that protected time with your scholarship and working one-on-one with students. The students benefit, and it ultimately really is teaching. So thank you.
Now please welcome to the stage recent graduate of the School of the Arts, Megan Ers, as she performs Home from Beauty and the Beast. School of the Arts faculty member, Professor Jamie Strawn, will accompany the performance on piano.
Yes, I made the choice. For Papa I will stay. But I don't deserve to lose my freedom in this way, you monster. If you think that what you've done is right, well then, you're a fool. Think again. Is this home? Is this where I should learn to be happy? Never dreamed that a home could be dark and cold. I was told every day in my childhood, even when we grow old, home should be where the heart is. Never were words so true. My heart's far, far away. Home is too. What I'd give to return to the life that I knew lately, and to think I complained of that dull provincial town. Is this home? Am I here for a day or forever? Shut away from the world until who knows when. No, but then, as my life has been altered once, it can change again. Build higher walls around me, change every lock and key. Nothing lasts, nothing holds all of me. My heart's far, far away, home and free.
Please welcome Interim President Jerry St. Amand to the podium.
Great. I've got to follow that. Whew. Well, listen, Megan and also our other students, Aaron, George, and Sam, and Jamie at the piano, thank you so much. I mean, great examples of the enormous talent we have in our School of the Arts. I mean, it's phenomenal. Let's give them all another round of applause, all of them. After that performance, that's the only way I was going to hear applause while I was up here. Thanks. Holly, congratulations on being named the Milburn Outstanding Professor, a well-deserved honor. And thank you for your thoughtful and really inspiring remarks. You join an elite group of faculty who have changed the lives of our students here at NKU. And for all of you former Milburn winners here in the audience, let me extend my thanks to you again for what you've done over the years in serving our students with excellence. Thank you, Holly. Cecile, congratulations on being named a Regents Professor. That's a tremendous honor here. And thank you for your continuing exceptional work in the research arena, but most importantly, for the way you incorporate students in your work. which is really important here at our university. So thank you and congratulations. Sue is our provost. I tell you, she's doing a great job working with our faculty and students. And one thing I've realized from multiple perspectives now is what a hard job being a provost is. And I'm just glad that I can recognize that without being in the job. So thanks for doing it. You know, for years I've come to this convocation, sitting out in those seats and wondering, you know, what's the president going to talk about? Today, at least I have an idea. Although frankly, you give me a podium, you give me a microphone, I don't know where this is going to lead. So, you know, I've been on this campus since 1999. Came here first as the dean of the Chase College of Law. After 7 years, asked to serve as the vice president for advancement, and then served a short stint as acting athletic director, and then served as professor of law, teaching at the law school for the last 4 years. I confess, I was very happy, and in fact, I felt honored that I'd have the opportunity to teach as what I believe were my final active years at NKU. I'd come to appreciate what former Chase professor Carol Eisenbart told me when I was dean. She said, you know, one day I would have the opportunity to move up to the faculty. Alas, I did have that privilege. It just wasn't my swan song, apparently. So I was scheduled to retire in May, and I was looking forward to it, looking forward to a relaxing summer with Peggy. We'd already made some retirement plans. I had donated a few of my suits to the law school student clothes closet. They wouldn't fit now anyways, but I was ready. Then I got a call from board chair Rich Bainey asking if I'd be willing to consider serving in this interim role. You know, what's that line from The Godfather? Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Looks just like me. You know, all joking aside, I was willing to serve because I love this university and the people here. It's an honor to serve as interim president, and though the challenges and the time demands have been and are significant, leading this institution the past few months has been a privilege and an unexpectedly rewarding way to conclude my active career at NKU, second best to teaching. I've been blessed as a result of my professional opportunities here at NKU to really put me in direct contact, you know, with so many of you, faculty, staff, administrators, alumni, community and business leaders, friends and donors of the university, a combination of people who together have made this university the successful university that it is, and whose presence here today in large numbers demonstrates a continuing commitment to the success of our university in the future. So thanks to all of you who have done so much to support our university in the past, and thank you for your commitment to take care of us and this university in the future. When we consider service to our university, let me recognize some individuals who have a particularly important, direct, and leading role in our university, and that is members of our Board of Regents. Our board vice chair, Lee Shaben, who's the senior vice president for Heritage Bank, but also an NKU Chase College of Law grad. We have Professor Rick Boyce, who's a professor of biological sciences and acting director of the NKU Research and Education Field Station. Dennis Repenning, a practicing attorney and also an NKU Chase College of Law grad. Arnie Slaughter, who's NKU's assistant vice president for student engagement and dean of students. And Arnie, congratulations on your recent permanent appointment as AVP. And we have Sammy Dada, NKU student, SGA president, a new board member. Welcome to the board, Sammy. Thank you all for joining us today. Let me also mention, though, our newest regent, just appointed by Governor Bevin, who's not able to join us today for good reason. Ashley Himes, in her full-time professional capacity, is assistant principal at Northern Elementary School in Pendleton County. you can understand what the beginning of the school year is like for the assistant principal. Busy time. Ashley is a NKU alum 3 times with a bachelor's in speech communication and 2 masters of arts degrees in instructional leadership and secondary education. And we're pleased to have Sammy and Ashley both as new members of our Board of Regents. To all of our regents, I want to thank you for your selfless service to our university. It means a great deal to the entire community. Also want to welcome former President Leon Booth, who's with us today. Leon, thank you so much for joining us for this celebration. I also want to thank members of the NKU Foundation Board. Barry Kinzel is here, who's the president of our foundation board. The board here has really supported us in challenging times over the years. And those challenging times, economically, they've done a remarkable work in managing the university's private resources. They've been wonderful advocates on behalf of NKU, and they've also served helpfully to strengthen that relationship between alumni, our donors, and our university community. And for that, we're grateful, and thank you, Barry, and the entire board. We're also honored to have with us today other Northern Kentucky political leaders, community leaders, and business leaders. Among them, I saw Brent Cooper, the interim president of the Northern Kentucky Chamber. We interims kind of help each other out a little bit. It's a good thing. And we have a number of alumni and donors as well. And thank you all for being here today, but most importantly, thank you for what you do every day in helping this university as we serve our students. And then to some students, faculty, staff, for whom the academic year and that academic calendar has the greatest impact, thank you for joining us to celebrate the beginning of a new academic year. I mean, this is exciting. Now, earlier this year, President Jeff Mearns announced he was leaving NKU to become president of Ball State. And in my judgment, we were very fortunate to have Jeff's steady and tenacious leadership during some tough years for our university. Because although they were tough years, we also made some important and meaningful progress in key fiscal areas. And this point in the convocation, though, is where Jeff would normally meticulously lay out the challenges, particularly the fiscal challenges, facing NKU. Things like state funding cuts, rising pension costs and the impact that had on our budget, shifting demographics and the impact that has on our enrollment and our budget, just to name a few. I'm not going to do that today, at least not in detail. And it's not because those challenges don't continue and they're not real, because I assure you, they do continue and they are real. Not because they aren't important, because our advocacy for equitable state funding for NKU and for the proper CPE implementation of the performance-based funding model is as critical as ever for reasons that I'll touch on in a moment. But because these challenges, I think, have been defined very well for us in prior years, and I think everyone in this room understands what those challenges are. What I'd like to do is deal with these briefly in the limited context of the progress that we've made on the equitable funding front and what needs to be done to complete that baseline funding effort. Then I'd like to focus our attention on examples of the good work all of you are doing related to our NKU 2013-2018 strategic plan, Fuel the Flame. And I want to focus on that because we're entering the final year of that plan. And I want to emphasize for all of us that although we may be in a presidential leadership transition period, we are not in a pause or wait-and-see period. The core work that all of us engage in day to day to advance the strategic priorities of this university continues uninterrupted, despite the fact that we're in a presidential transition. So, the recent success that we've had on this equitable funding front was the end result of a major campaign that we called, from NKU's perspective, Invest in Success. Let me give you a quick recap. You know, for decades, NKU made the case to all who would listen, and even to those who wouldn't. NKU was not funded equitably when compared to all other higher education institutions in the Commonwealth. And then Kentucky's Council on Post-Secondary Education, our CPE, they studied the state's higher education funding and concluded that NKU indeed was underfunded by over $10 million in recurring annual funding. Well, armed with that analysis, NKU then made a full court press to address this funding inequity, while also urging the state to go ahead and adopt a more rational, performance-based funding model for universities going forward. We rallied our students, our faculty, staff, alumni, community partners in an unprecedented show of force. And we proved that when we all work together, NKU is unstoppable. You know, we sent nearly 8,000 messages to Frankfurt from nearly 2,000 unique senders. In total, we reached 151 legislators over the 2-year biennium, not to mention the impact that you all made on Governor Bevin and his staff. Our business community was firmly behind our efforts, including our very strong advocacy from the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce and its members. You know, we're fortunate that we have a very strong relationship here with our local business community and the Chamber. Many don't know that the NKU president actually serves on the board of directors of the NKU Chamber of Commerce, which serves both the university and the region extremely well. Well, not only did our state legislature finally begin to address our historic funding disparity by adding $5.1 million to our base budget, 1/2 of the recognized shortfall, they also demonstrated their commitment to performance-based funding in legislation that set the stage to make historic changes in the way Kentucky funds higher education. These were both major steps forward and could not have been achieved without our students, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, our community partners, political leaders, and business leaders all stepping up. So thank you to all of you for your advocacy. Ultimately, though, advocacy is the first step. Success ultimately depends on the legislature and the governor taking action. In that effort, our Northern Kentucky Legislative Caucus members were personally very supportive, but also indispensable and powerful advocates in gaining the support of leaders in both chambers of the legislature. Our caucus members have expressly acknowledged the strong support of Speaker of the House Jeff Hoover, Senate President Robert Stivers, and Senator David Givens, who's a person described by so many people in our caucus and beyond as a true thought leader regarding higher education policy. The governor's support was critical during the legislative process itself, and his support was obtained in no small part as the result of efforts by his budget director, John Chilton, and the deputy budget director, Andrew McNeil, who served on the performance funding work group. So we extend our heartfelt thanks to our legislative caucus members, our Kentucky legislative leaders, the governor and his budget team, for beginning to address a decades-long shortfall in funding for NKU. So we made important and meaningful progress. On the equity funding, we got halfway there. But halfway means our work is only half done. This year, we're again going to be rallying our campus and our community to encourage our state leadership to finish the job. We've already told the CPE that in terms of funding requests that the CPE might make to the legislature to support higher education, we want to focus exclusively on equity funding. We won't support any education-related special initiatives until equity is achieved. Yeah. You know, we're not going to support any education-related special initiatives until it's achieved and equilibrium is established. Then we can move forward with any other initiatives that we believe higher education needs. So we're again going to be asking all of you to email your representatives or tweet, Facebook, call, text, send smoke signals, whatever your preferred method of communication. Whatever we have to do to convince them to finish the job, we're going to do it. I assure you, Our strong grassroots movement is what got us this far. And it's the continued advocacy that's going to get the job finished. Now, beyond higher education funding, though, there's one major state budget influencer that seriously affects all of Kentucky. Clearly affects all Kentucky comprehensive universities, but none more seriously and to a greater extent than NKU. And that's the state pension system, that proverbial elephant in the room. You know, while we're anxiously awaiting the results of a consultant study of our state system to see what emerges as a potential political response, the comprehensive universities themselves have taken the initiative to consider and suggest alternatives that could improve the system, at least for higher ed. Now, UK and UOL are not affected by this. So for the first time to my knowledge, Sue Hodges-Moore, Mike Hales, Lori Southwood, Adam Caswell, and their counterparts of all the comprehensive universities have joined together to work on a consensus alternative suggested retirement plan for higher education. The approach we seek is one that protects current employees who wish to remain in the Kentucky system, but that looks to an alternative system for all others. The presidents of all the universities have, within the last 2 months, also engaged directly with these working groups. And to the extent that this approach produces a consensus proposal, which I believe it will, our advocacy efforts will also include that. Well, recognizing that it's sometimes difficult to remember the mission of cleaning the pond when you're up to your neck in alligators, let's leave the budget alligators aside for the moment and focus on the 2013-2018 strategic plan, Fuel the Flame. And as we do that, let's keep reminding ourselves that although we are momentarily in a leadership transition, the work goes on without pause. So let's recall our 5 goals, and in doing so, consider not just the mountain ahead that we want to climb, but glance back briefly to appreciate the mountains we've already climbed. Just a few examples of success. So goal number 1, student success. That includes promoting inclusive excellence and global awareness, promoting academic success, and enhancing the student experience. Well, I'm happy to report that our students are succeeding at unprecedented rates. We've seen a dramatic increase in our first to second year retention numbers. We've gone up from 66% in 2010 to 72% plus today. In addition, our retention numbers across all years are now increasing, and our retention rate among underrepresented minorities is up 6%. All good news. But to really understand our commitment to student success, sometimes it's good to go beyond the numbers and to look at people, at real live students. Students like our SGA president and regent, Sammy Dada. You know, Sammy's journey to NKU was a bit unconventional. He came to the United States as a refugee from Civil War-torn Liberia in April of 2001 when he was 5 years old. Sammy still remembers being separated from his mother in West Africa and questioned one-on-one by immigration officers. Here in the United States, he attended an inner-city kindergarten in Pennsylvania, then 6 different elementary schools in Minnesota and Michigan. He was a student at 2 different middle schools and had been enrolled in 4 different high schools before finally landing in Goshen High School in Cincinnati during his senior year. Sammy wasn't an elite student by his own admission, but he worked hard, and when he learned about NKU from one of his classmates, he decided to visit. This part of the story is a familiar one. He took a tour and fell in love with NKU. Sammy says one of the things that convinced him to enroll was the construction cranes he saw all over campus. A sign of growth, a sign of growth. He said at other schools, everything was old and very traditional. There was not a lot of room for me to grow. So we've provided him some room to grow. Now, the other thing that drew him here were the people. He says everyone he met was warm and welcoming and made him feel at home on our campus. So he joined NKU, And a series of strong mentors then motivated him to get involved. And involved he did. He joined SGA, NKU Rocks, and he pledged the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. He spent time in Frankfurt, meeting one-on-one with legislators to advocate directly for equitable funding for NKU. He was voted Homecoming Prince and named the NKU Rocks Scholar of the Year. As a sophomore, he began to expand his involvement, including working with Colors of Pride, an organization for LGBTQ students of color. He also began working with an organization called the Welcome Project, which offers housing, English training, and critical services to women refugees. And earlier this year, he told his story at a Cincinnati refugee rally. When it came time to run for SGA president, Sammy says he was excited to see that all the campaigns centered on diversity, inclusiveness, and unity. He could relate to that theme on a very personal level. And as SGA president, he continues to bring people together on our campus and beyond. Earlier this week, SGA hosted a vigil to show support for students at the University of Virginia and the people of Charlottesville. Sammy and his colleagues also created a banner that our students marked with their handprints in a show of solidarity with UVA. My wife, Peggy, delivered it last evening as she traveled to Charlottesville for our granddaughter Olivia's birthday. She was moved by the commitment shown and the leadership shown by Sammy and our students, and she was honored to deliver that gift of solidarity. Peggy had helped, though, in presenting the banner to UVA SGA president Sarah Kenny and her friend Liam. Olivia and Madeline, my granddaughters, helped present it after soccer practice. And it's a beautiful, beautiful banner, isn't it? Sarah was deeply appreciative and commented that this was the only direct communication she had received from any other university. You know, Sammy, you just have a knack and a talent for knowing how best to touch people and to make a difference. Well, if anyone in the Charlottesville St. Amand family happens to be watching the stream of this, thanks, and happy birthday, Olivia. Thanks, Sammy. You know, the incidents in Charlottesville and other communities across our country illustrate and reinforce the importance of working individually and collectively to foster a safe, inclusive environment where our differences are embraced and are not a reason to divide. And Sammy's experience describes very vividly how NKU, through our culture and our student focus, does just that. And in doing so, we promote student success and enhance the student experience. Goal number 2, talent development, includes increasing educational attainment, producing skilled graduates prepared for the workforce. One project that will dramatically increase NKU's capacity to develop talent is our new $105 million Health Innovation Center, which will be the most technologically advanced building on our campus when it opens in 2018. The Health Innovation Center, or HIC, will make a lasting impact on our university and our region in areas of population health and high-demand degree production, in areas of clinical healthcare, data analytics and cybersecurity, health education and communication, and STEM areas such as neuroscience and biochemistry. It will allow us to be more responsive to our region's workforce needs in the healthcare arena and in the social services by expanding the number of new health-related programs we can offer and also increasing our capacity in the programs that we have already. The HIC, along with the recently announced UK Regional Medical School in partnership with NKU and St. Elizabeth Healthcare, will position our university to play a leadership role in improving the well-being of citizens in our region and beyond. Goal number 3, academic innovation. Advance academic programs that are distinctive, experiential, and transdisciplinary. You know, following the amazing growth in innovation that we experienced with Griffin Hall and the College of Informatics, just a few years ago, we know that the academic programming made possible by the Health Innovation Center, along with our growing portfolio of online offerings, will have a significant impact on our ability to engage in further academic innovation. From expanded and sophisticated IT infrastructure that will support coordinated healthcare research, to the state-of-the-art simulation lab supported by St. E's $8 million gift, the HIC is being constructed to support an integrated portfolio of transdisciplinary programs that will better prepare our healthcare professionals to develop solutions to the population health challenges that we face in our region and in our Commonwealth. As we roll out our new programs that bring together teaching, research from our colleges of arts and sciences, business, education, human services, health professions, informatics, and law, the HIC is going to have an impact and enhance the education of students across this campus. Beyond what HIC will enable, though, we're also aggressively preparing to better serve all of our students and meeting them where they learn. You know, in January, we will launch 15 complete undergraduate and graduate degree programs in a fully online accelerated format. And then later in 2018, we plan on launching another 15 fully online accelerated degree programs. You know, while we're going to maintain our deep and abiding commitment to that face-to-face, up-close and personal NKU experience, and we can't ignore the many students who simply can't come to campus to take advantage of our excellent academic offerings. As well, I mean, given our commitment to workforce needs in our region and the Commonwealth, you know, we're expanding our programs for working professionals by offering a portfolio of undergraduate and postgraduate stackable certificates and preparing multiple other micro-credentials in courses in a wide range of disciplines. In all of these efforts, we're going to continue to promise and deliver our students the access, affordability, and the academic excellence they need to be successful in today's world. And we stand ready to support the employers of our region by educating and training the workforce that they need in today's marketplace. Goal number 4, community engagement. That means expanding partnerships with business, government, education, nonprofit organizations. You know, we have continued to expand our community engagement over the years through community dialogues and innovative think tank programs that address critical issues that face our region, such as the heroin epidemic. These programs and others like them have earned NKU the Community Engagement Classification from the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. Our faculty live this commitment to community engagement every day in ways large and small. And a recent example demonstrates how multiple departments on a campus can often support one project. The old Southgate Street School in Newport, a building that easily could walk by without noticing it. Just another 19th century building in a neighborhood full of them. But the school is important for 2 reasons. One, from 1873 until 1954, when the Supreme Court essentially ordered public school desegregation, the school educated the African American children in Campbell County. It stands today as a symbol of the African American parents and civic leaders who made sure that their children had access to quality education even if they didn't have access to the public school system. Secondly, the city of Newport agreed earlier this year to convert the old school into a museum to tell the school story as well as the larger story of Newport. And a soft opening is planned sometime in this winter. Well, the project would not have happened without an important collaborator, NKU. We have management and public administration students help with the project planning. Communications students are working on a public relations campaign and they're filming a documentary, talking with older residents who remember attending the school. Public history students are researching and designing exhibits, and we even engaged our pre-engineering students who are testing out a new 3D printer capable of making a bust of James Taylor, founder of Newport. The museum collaboration of the museum project exemplifies NKU's commitment to community engagement. And in the best engagements, the community benefits, but so does student learning. And this is a win-win experience and a great example of it. Goal number 5, institutional excellence. Recruit top talent, increase public awareness of NKU strengths included in that. You know, since we launched our strategic plan, we've strengthened institutional excellence in countless ways, including building new and renovating existing facilities, expanding NKU Foundation's total assets to over $100 million for the first time in our history. Further evidence of our institutional excellence was reported just in the past few weeks. We were recognized by Forbes magazine for the 9th consecutive year as one of America's top colleges, and by Rent College Pads as the number 5 safest college campus in the United States. As we consider increasing public awareness of NKU, how about our Norse Athletics program? Our teams saw unprecedented success last season, highlighted by Horizon League tournament championships for our women's soccer team and our men's basketball team. Now, I don't think our campus or our community will soon forget the excitement and the energy surrounding our primetime men's basketball matchup against the University of Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. Our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community rallied behind NKU like never before. And our success served to significantly increase NKU's public awareness and the awareness of our strength both on the court and off the court. And in recognition of this dramatic impact, the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce announced this week that it will present the NKU men's basketball team the Image Maker Award at their annual dinner on September 28th. Brent Cooper, the Chamber's interim president, told me he's going to get the entire crowd, which is usually around 1,200 people, he's going to get them all to Norse up. And and if anybody can do it, Brent can do it. You got to love those interims. Well, and this success speaks directly to the importance, though, of recruiting top talent. You know, in just his second season leading the program, head coach John Brannon's team made America take notice. When they won 24 games, won the conference tournament, and became only the second men's basketball team in over 45 years to reach the NCAA tournament in their first year of eligibility. And at that new level, on a national stage with millions watching, both leading up to and during the big game, Coach Brannon represented NKU with professional class, earning the attention and the respect of opponents, the media, and viewers around the country, not only for his basketball coaching talent, but just as importantly, as a university leader and representative. What people observed was his high degree of professionalism and strength of character in leading young students. But that came as no surprise to people who know John. The leadership he's demonstrated during his brief tenure here has been remarkable. He's building a championship caliber Division I program, and he's doing so with integrity and with care for his student athletes. With John and all of our other outstanding coaches firmly committed to academic excellence, I'm proud to state emphatically that our move to Division I has only strengthened the success of our student athletes off the playing field. For 12 straight semesters now, they have posted a GPA of 3.0 or higher, including a 3.25 GPA last spring. And listen to this, nearly 15% of our student athletes earned a 4.0 GPA last spring, and 45 of them earned a degree in May, including every senior on the men's and women's basketball teams. Now that's impressive. A big part of our institutional excellence goal, of course, is the recruitment of top talent, and we're currently recruiting candidates for a pretty important position here at NKU. Everywhere I go these days, people want to know how our presidential search is going. There's great anticipation and excitement on campus and in our community about who our next leader might be. And I try not to take that personally. Really. Our Presidential Search and Steering Committee, a committee appointed by the Board of Regents and that represents major NKU constituent groups, has been working tirelessly. And I'm assured we're on track for the Board of Regents to select a new leader this fall. Well, last spring, the committee hosted listening sessions for students, faculty, staff, and our community. The feedback from those sessions was used to help create a comprehensive presidential profile and to strengthen the committee's and the board's efforts to recruit the very top talent to serve as NKU's next president. I want to thank all of you who participated in those listening sessions and contributed to the creation of this profile, which helps to define the type of new leader that we want at our university. For the latest information on that search, simply go to the presidential search website, and there it is. And it's nku.edu/president search. Well, the committee and the board will continue to take all appropriate measures to maximize the prospects of recruiting the very best talent to NKU as our next president. And I encourage all of us to support the committee and the board in those efforts. And just as importantly, to support the new leader that we hire here at the university. Because ultimately, the success of a new president depends on all of us. And the new president's success is important because that reflects on the success of the university and all the students that we serve. And so I know, looking out here and the support that I have felt as an interim president, that you will provide that level of support for the new president once he's selected or she's selected. In the meantime, you know, as you think about it, our next president will lead us as we complete the Fuel the Flame strategic plan, will help us recalibrate the vision of our institution going forward, and will set that tone for continued growth and progress. But in the meantime, as I alluded to earlier, the core work of Northern Kentucky University continues unabated during this transition. You know, when the board named me president in May, I publicly stated that I fully expected that NKU would continue to gather momentum and to advance our strategic priorities during this interim period. And I did so not because of any great confidence I had in myself, but because of the incredible confidence that I have in you, our faculty, our staff, and supported by dedicated alumni and community partners. You know, as Hall of Fame manager Sparky Anderson once said, baseball is a simple game. If you have good players and you keep them in the right frame of mind, then the manager's a success. I'd suggest the team is a success. Well, we've got good players at NKU, and one of our greatest strengths as an institution is that we never waver from our core mission of teaching students and preparing them for their success after graduation. We have kept and we keep this frame of mind no matter what the challenges are that we face, and that is what makes us successful. Let's turn for a moment about the 50th anniversary celebration. Each of us has played a role in making NKU what it is today, and each of us will play a role in taking NKU to where we want it to be in the next 50 years. As we've been preparing for our 50th anniversary, we've held a number of roundtable discussions with various internal and external groups to talk about their experience with NKU. And this morning I want to share with you some of the themes that emerged from those conversations. Every group we spoke to, both internal and external, spoke of the positive, changing public perception of this university. You know, we came from humble beginnings, and there was a time when our region, and many in our region, and even some on our campus, kind of were stuck in the past in thinking of us as this small school, 3 buildings, kind of a community college mission. When visitors visit our campus today, Griffin Hall, the Herman Science Center, the renovated Recreation Center, the BB&T Arena, the Vitruba Student Union, the list goes on, it's obvious that that outdated perception of Northern Kentucky University was shattered long ago. Shattered long ago. We are known and have been known now for some time to have become the top choice school for an increasingly well-prepared incoming student body. And many of our academic programs are recognized as the best in the region and among the best in the country. And that's not new. That has happened now for quite some time. Every single one of our students, faculty, and staff and alumni have played a role in the shifting of that perception to one in which NKU is seen as a dynamic, innovative, and diverse university with friendly and inclusive campus environment and of the highest academic quality. From our earliest days, we've been committed to caring for students as well and about each other. And that commitment is as strong today as ever. As one roundtable participant said, many things have changed on campus, but the important things have not changed. And caring for students is one of the important things that hasn't changed. Another common theme from the roundtables was our commitment to community. We're dedicated to serving the people, the businesses, the nonprofits, the government of our region. And our region, frankly, spans far north of the Ohio River and far south of Grant County. And we have grown, and as we have grown, so has our influence throughout the region and throughout the Commonwealth. At these roundtables, we heard the same story over and over again. Professor so-and-so's class changed my life. I really had no idea what I wanted to do after college until that class. Students and alumni told of forging close relationships with our faculty as mentors. And I've experienced that phenomenon from the other side of the desk. And I can attest that these relationships don't fade after graduation, as many of you can attest to. I'm sure many in this room could tell us about lifelong friendships that they created with faculty, students during their time here. And these students and alumni are from every generation, whether they attended in the 70s, the 90s, or they're a sophomore in school right now. And I'll tell you what's truly remarkable in these stories is that they're from theater, chemistry, accounting, law, education, nursing, journalism, you name it, throughout the entire campus, every department. These stories are the same. And so it's not just the work of one department that's unique. The entire campus has that mindset and has influenced our students and alumni in that manner. And that resonates with our graduates. Our commitment to meaningful relationships with faculty and staff and fellow students is part of a key element that distinguishes us from our peers. We're a people university, and that will never change. Another common theme that emerged was a strong sense of NKU spirit. There's a tenacious attitude here, a desire to go beyond the expectations, to shine bright. Our students and alumni have a reputation for working harder, and in my experience, that passion burns in them from the first day they arrive here on campus. We seem to be a scrappy bunch, and we don't make excuses. I think that attracts a certain kind of student to NKU, which reinforces that. One final theme that emerged, which I think is very important as well, was our forward focus. Sure, we have a lot of pride in what we've achieved over the last 50 years, and we should. We've achieved more in those 50 years than many other universities have achieved in a century or two. But our campus isn't burdened by ancient history. We're still young and nimble enough to continue writing our story, one that future generations will celebrate as we celebrate our 50th this year. That agility gives us a freedom to take some smart chances, like we did with the College of Informatics just a few years ago. And those chances have paid off and given us a strong foundation on which to build for the next 50 years. Next spring, during homecoming and alumni weekend, we're going to begin our 50th anniversary celebration. Throughout the year, we're going to honor those who helped bring us here to where we are today. We'll celebrate the boundless opportunities, though, before us. The festivities will culminate with a fall gala that I'm told will be a can't-miss event. for our university and our region. You know, this is a big moment for NKU. Our golden anniversary gives us an opportunity to strengthen even further the public perceptions about who we are and what we're capable of being. The activities that surround the 50th anniversary will empower students, engage alumni, and introduce this great university to an even larger part of our population who are less familiar with us. And our message throughout will be clear, and that is that NKU is unstoppable. You know, on Monday, we're going to welcome to campus about 14,000 tenacious men and women who are chomping at the bit. They will bring with them a palpable vitality that will energize every one of us, right? I mean, last night I spoke to a couple of thousand of those new students and many family members. The energy and the excitement in the BB&T Arena last night was absolutely amazing. So as we join those students next week and we do our work to help channel that excitement and that enthusiasm, and it has to be channeled, do so with the recognition and the understanding that because of us, because of all of you, their lives will forever change. And also, in all likelihood, our lives will change as well. Well, I want to thank you once again for all the work that you do every day to support our university and our students. And just one word of advice before we leave: get some rest this weekend and be fully charged up Monday morning. Thank you very much.
Please welcome once again to the stage Megan Ers as she performs NKU's alma mater. Will you please remain standing?
Forgot the words. I'm sorry. What is, oh, thank you. Northern, let your vision lead us, hearts of women, men, and youth. Help us seek the higher virtues, guide us to the greater truth. Your name, and in time leave us your children, better for than when we came.
Thank you, and that concludes our Fall 2017 Convocation. Thanks for attending, and have a great semester.